So the New York Times waits until close of impeachment trial to retract fire extinguisher fable. This got me fired up. Although it's not something I should probably joke about because it's very sad. But although we've known for weeks U.S. Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick was, in fact, not beaten to death with a fire extinguisher during January's Capitol Hill riot, the far-left New York Times waited until after former President Trump's impeachment acquittal was assured to issue a retraction. The piece was updated on February 12th. By then, the main body of the impeachment trial was over, and Trump's acquittal was a foregone conclusion. He was acquitted the next day. Coincidence? I think not. On January 8th, the fake Times and others misled the world by telling us Sicknick died on Thursday from injuries he sustained after Trump loyalists who overtook the complex struck him in the head with a fire extinguisher, according to two law enforcement officials. That's a quote from the Times. Now I'm going to skip down to a couple things here, and they reported that investigators have found little evidence to back up the attack with a fire extinguisher as the cause of death, the official said. Instead, they increasingly suspect that a factor was Officer Sicknick being sprayed in the face by some sort of irritant like mace or bear spray, the law enforcement official said. That was also the New York Times. But as it goes on, the story here that I found absolutely unbearably sick was that the New York Times, they didn't retract the article. They did an update on the article and did it sneakily.
Yeah.
And that is why we started, why I started and recruited the show, is because of articles just like this and because of the complete lies that I started to find literally this last summer, 2020.
The bias towards what is the news, the hypocrisy to report, you know.
The rage bait is unbelievably crazy, and they made a ton of money on clicks, literally, like probably hundreds and hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
And people are still using that as an argument of the riots, not the riots, but the overtaking of the Capitol. And even calling it a coup to me is ridiculous. Like, have you not seen Olympus Has Fallen? People don't take over a country unarmed. But
well,
I think all the media you have to take with a grain of salt, whether it's CNN, New York Times, New York Post, Fox, whatever.
Yeah, Fox, yeah.
They're all
Newsmax,
commentary. They're not news. It's all clickbait.
It is completely
do your
clickbait. Absolutely. Literally, this story broke because if I remember correctly doing the research, and again, I continue to tell people to look it up, but do your research. Don't trust us. Don't trust one article. Do your research. But what I recall is there was an article literally out of Texas that kind of blew this wide open and said that they contacted the Capitol Police and said he had a stroke or whatever it was and that he wasn't bludgeoned to death.
Right.
He died the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think all 5 of the deaths were, my understanding is they were natural causes that were.
Well, there was a lady that was
the gal.
The gal that was shot by.
The veteran, the Air Force veteran.
Sorry, correct. Thank you for the correction. But there's videos out about that too. But they didn't die directly from a result of the storming of the Capitol. But the flip side of that is, with law enforcement, I've been to several funerals for law enforcement where they didn't die in the line of duty like they were shot. They had a heart attack after they got home from something that they just had been through.
Right.
So they weren't on the clock, but they were still considered line of duty death.
That was considered.
So Dodge County, the step down from sheriff, passed away.
Right.
He had a heart attack after he got off duty.
Yeah.
But they considered that a line of duty
I didn't
death.
know that.
It was directly
That's
a result
interesting.
of his position,
of
his
what
work,
had
of his
come out
shift.
that day, and it wasn't an event with a perpetrator. It was inner office stuff that was a mess.
okay.
But
Yeah.
Does it matter? Like whether,
No.
right?
No.
Okay.
As long as it's a result of what your shift had just
right.
provided.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
so, I mean, you have to look at both sides of that. But it's not like 5 people were shot or thrown off of a balcony from the events that happened in the Capitol. 1 person was shot, not 5.
Yeah, and they talk about that it was a conspiracy in some of those articles as well that they haven't retracted yet. But I don't know, these people. Then maybe there was a conspiracy and then it'll be uncovered. But to my knowledge, I've looked. I didn't see anything. And conspiracy obviously meaning that people get together to cause harm. And this was the videos that I saw and things like that. There are people that are unmasked. They're taking pictures in the Capitol. They're doing. I mean, come on, these are not mastermind.
They're walking single file between the red velvet ropes.
They're right. These are not
orderly,
mastermind
properly,
criminals.
respectfully. Yeah.
No, this isn't China coming in to take
Yeah.
over.
Yeah. And so I mean it's all hyperbolic nonsense. It's a terrible thing that happened. It should have never happened. All those things, but to say that it was a conspiracy and that it was orchestrated by certain people, I'm not seeing it.
Or a coup.
And the timing that they could not release the actual information and do an edit or an update on the article until after what it was intended for, meaning like the impeachment.
Right. Right.
That's what's sad. As they have a moral and ethical responsibility also as news providers.
Yeah.
They're not
But
being
nobody holds them accountable.
No.
I know they do, but they should. They should. But you're right. Nobody is holding them accountable.
Nobody.
Yeah.
And they keep clicking on it.
Yeah.
I literally didn't. People kept accusing me as I was doing different podcasts and interviews of watching too much Fox News and things like that. And I was getting messages. And I'm like, look, I haven't even turned on the TV and watched any kind of news. Do I need to? This is original thought. This is things that I am looking and seeing and traveling around, and this is original thought stuff. And I'm not taking some article's word for it. I'll look at and read an article, and I'll go and look at and read a couple others, and I'll go all that kind of stuff. And that's exactly what every human being should do, not listen to just CNN or Fox
just
News
one
or
thing. Yeah,
I mean,
investigate.
come on.
Be a detective. That's how I live my life. Like, I like certain things, certain genres in my life, but I definitely like to step outside the box and see what everybody else's perspective is, and from that, then I decide what my opinion is or how I feel in ways. I mean, I always still have that inner belief of how I feel or whatever, but I want my news, I want my sources to be out there. I want there to be more than just one thing. That's
Right.
Be a detective. Don't just rely on one
Well-rounded,
thing.
well-informed.
Or hearsay. Oh, I hate that. I'm very annoyed by media and social media lately, how misleading everything is. And at the end of the day, I come to the conclusion it's all on purpose. They want us to do exactly what we're doing right now. They want us to talk about it. They want us to argue about it.
They don't want us to talk about it. They want us to argue about it. That part you got right on.
They want to divide. They want that
completely.
Because what does that
Absolutely.
do? That creates more
division, which creates more clicks, which creates
More
more.
attention.
Yes.
Yep, absolutely.
That bothers me. But
And more money.
more money.
Yep.
Thank you.
And not assemble. Correct.
This has been going on for years, though. And with this, go back into newspaper print, though, where you would have a huge article and they would mess something up. Or I'm looking at the advertising side of this, of being a business, and they would mess something up, and they're like, "Oh, we're so sorry. We'll retract it, or we'll put a little thing in it."
A little
so
correction,
I paid
yeah.
for this size of ad, but they ran this size
Yes.
to correct what they messed up, and
In
that's
the
kind of
back
how I
of
feel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So
Exactly.
you guys
Exactly.
remember Christopher Reeves in Superman, right? In Superman 4, when the Daily Planet got taken over by the hot chick and her dad, right? You guys remember that? When
Yeah.
Christopher Reeve.
Yeah.
Remember that? No. So
Anyway, keep
I can't remember the name. I can't remember the name of the news and stuff. But there was this. They tried to make her hit on Christopher Reeve's character and stuff like that, and try to. Basically, the idea was to sway them, but literally they said in there that rage bait type stuff sells newspapers.
Of course
And
it
the
does.
Daily Planet obviously was a good, wholesome newspaper,
It
right?
was Superman's fault.
and
Clark Kent.
right, totally. And so but think about when that was made.
Hot chick.
It's 30 years ago, probably.
Oh yeah, at least. I mean, early '80s, wasn't it? Superman 4, maybe. Let's say even '85.
I feel like I'm going to go watch
How
Superman.
do newspapers? I mean, how do they make money though? By selling newspaper? How do you make?
You do make money by
So you
selling,
do.
absolutely. I don't
Yeah.
disagree
Well,
with that.
So-
they used to, but not anymore.
Well, not
No.
anymore, you're right. So way back when,
Right.
yeah.
But even back then, so people say, well, this is a new thing and blah, blah, blah. No
it's
way.
not.
You're absolutely right with the ads and all these other things that happen.
Placement of the ad,
It
who, what,
is.
where, when, why.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Is it on the front page?
It has
Top
been.
fold. Have you
Is it
ever
on
made
the
top
third
fold
page?
of the half?
But anyway, let's wrap up. I'm Matt Logan. You can find me at Matt Logan Speaks. Parlor's back on.
Heard
Yeah.
that. Yes.
Craig.
Craig Ugland on Facebook and Instagram.
Martha Makashati, Facebook, Instagram.
Harmony Sage, Facebook.
Lisa Lingle, Facebook, Instagram.
See you guys next week. Hey, a lot of people have asked how they can support the work we're doing here at Matt Logan Speaks. Well, you see this hammer that I got in my hand? It's pretty big. All you have to do is hammer the share button. Go ahead and hammer out a comment to us. Go ahead and hammer the like button. Go ahead and hammer the subscription button. Go ahead and hammer the notification bell so that when we have new content up, you're the first to know about it. We really appreciate the comments, shares, likes, because you know what? That's the best way you can support us, because the algorithms on all these fancy computers, that's what they need. We appreciate it.